Okay, good morning still. Still June 21st, and I'm walking home from downtown. Which is downtown. This is all downtown. Looks like the little speeches are over that I walked through before, so easier to get down to Scar Street Mall here. We'll take a walk through the park and see what the Indigenous Peoples Day celebrations look like. There's a bunch of tents and things there. This all cleared away pretty quick. I guess they're probably still taking away AV equipment, but I must have come by in the tail end of that, whatever it was. They're working on the Globe Theater here, is what this is all about. It's in there as well. Yeah, there's the stage being taken down right now. Bone and Broth Kitchen. I've never gone in there. It's fairly new. Should check it out. They sealed this so that you can walk on it, so it's not like you're defacing the artwork by walking on it. Although it still feels weird, so I moved over to the side. We're on the Scar Street Mall, if you're just joining me. It's what they call the Twin Towers. This is a pedestrian mall and has been for a long time, although they're doing a survey to see if people would be amenable to opening it up to limited traffic. And I voted, well, I didn't vote, but I filled out the survey and said I didn't like the idea. This is a sculpture by Joe Fafard, representing the fact that this is known as Pile of Bones, the place where the bones are piled. Oskana Kanasastiki. Which is why you get a lot of Waskana around here. That's where that comes from. I don't know if it's the word for bones. Actually, I don't know which part of that is. I'll walk through the park here. You'll see a little bit of the whatever they're doing in here today. It's Victoria Park we're walking through. They do a lot of special activities in here, and right now it's for National Indigenous Peoples Day. So I guess they're basically celebrating as a week. So you can see there's a teepee over there. I don't know what's in all the booths. There's a lot of them. A lot of kids running around. People enjoying the sunshine. It's nice and cool, so we're just heading on through and heading on home. That's the cenotaph here. Set up originally for the memorial for the First World War, and then carries on to other wars since. And of course is where the Remembrance Day celebrations are held every November the 11th. On through the park. The grass is looking at its best. I often walk down Victoria Avenue. I don't walk through the park quite as often. More kids coming. A whole passel of them. Older kids, those. I think school's out. Is school out? I would have thought school was out, but maybe it's out this week and they're still doing field trips and stuff. I would think this is still a school activity, so perhaps they're still doing school trips. They probably want National Indigenous Peoples Day to fall while school is still in session so that they could do field trips.
Let's walk through and...
Guess we're crossing this way. These look like not quite teenagers. There's the Balfour. There's our Crosswalk. It's Metropolitan United Church here, which has actually a nice little garden you can walk through. There's a path here. You can walk in behind the tree. There's even a bench you could sit on if you wanted some shade and some greenery. So it's a nice little garden, and somewhat overgrown on the path, but there is a path. It is still a path. It's not perhaps as cleared as it might be. But plants have a way of doing that. And there's the balfour over there. Oh, it goes this way, technically. Not quite lunchtime when I get home, so I won't quite eat lunch yet. Get back to editing and other publishing related tasks. City Hall again. We'll walk right in front of it, probably. The tax building, Revenue Canada. Yeah, we still have the walk light, so we will cross here. You're not supposed to ride your bicycle on the sidewalk, but that doesn't stop people. It looks like we got a perfect cross light here, so we'll cross here towards the courthouse. Another look up Victoria Avenue to the east. Provincial courthouse here. If you get in real serious trouble, this is where your trial will be. And then City Hall. Oh, the fountain's going too. Well, could have stayed on that side, but I wanted to take advantage of the light. Get a better glimpse. Well, they've got the sign for National Indigenous Peoples Day, kind of blocks the fountain from this direction. That's the North Canadian Oils building there. You can see the fountain over there as we go by. It's not all that exciting a fountain, but it is a fountain. There's a coffee shop over there, Fresh and Sweet, which is good, but I never think to go into it. Morning. VQR, or VR, Victoria Regina, from the original courthouse, built back in Victorian days, obviously. I'll go down this way to avoid walking on Albert Street, which I do quite often anyways. Take the quieter street here. More recent Volvo than ours, but that's the XC40, I think, the smaller one. Yes, it is. This is the back of Credit Union Central. Almost walked into those branches. Like I said, plants don't care. They will take over everything. I need to prune a bunch in our back because they're growing. The Caragana bushes are quite enthusiastic this year and are hanging over our back sidewalk. And there's more at the back of the carport which are rubbing against the car every time I drive in, so I need to trim those off too. Do that soon. This weekend maybe. It's a kind of an interesting mural on the side of this building. Not sure what it represents, but it certainly is unusual. There's a guitar and other things. Again, this used to be the Y. There's a swimming pool in there. Two of them, actually. And they are setting up as a health center of all sorts, so that's interesting. My dentist used to be in that building, but not anymore. Road closed. Oh, right, yeah, the 13th is closed. I smell food. To remind myself, it's not actually lunchtime yet. We'll carry on down this way by that apartment building. This is the east end of the number 1 fire hall, that red brick building there. Watch out for the branches. It's an old house. Is it still an old house? This one's interesting because of the porch with the fieldstone pillars, the fieldstone front. It certainly looks like a house, not a business. So I think it's a house, and a nice one it is too. I really like that. I'm sure it's in my historic walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. This, on the other hand, is not a house. Well, it is, but it's not a residence, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Yes, if you'd really like to know more about Regina, look for my book, Historic Walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. It's kind of old now, and many of the buildings in it have been torn down. Not many, but some. But it does have a lot of history of the places I walk by. If there was some handy way to refer to it as I walked, that would make an interesting walk, but I can't figure out how to do that. Maybe when they get the, I get the Apple Vision Plus when it comes along, I could wear those goggles, look like a fool, but read and probably live stream through the goggles too. I assume they have a forward-facing camera. Read the, probably not motions canceled though. This might be jerky. Read the book as I walk was what I kept trying to say there. This old house, which is now a hair salon, I think. At one point had a vegetarian restaurant in it. Heliotrope. Heliotrope still exists, but mainly as a farm. They sell produce in the farmer's market a little later on when there is some. I don't seem to be quite there yet based on my walk through today. There's an old house there before. Now there's this rather uninspired, probably multi-unit. It's a dull-looking building, that's for sure. This is a very colorful house, and that is a house, I'm sure. Somebody lives there. Oh, shall we? Let's take the sidewalk to the back, if we can, because I've never walked down this bit of sidewalk. Should take me to the alley. Well, it does. It's kind of behind a fence, but there must be a way through it. Yeah, down there. Back of another old apartment building. This is where they tucked away the air conditioner, apparently, on this quite elderly apartment building at this point. Oh, here we go. Older apartment buildings will always have these indents because they didn't figure on having air conditioning, so you had to have some way to get air to flow through. So there'd be a central shaft or a indent like that. Usually where the fire escapes are too. So we're still walking parallel to Albert Street over there. The backs of buildings are interesting in a different way from the fronts of buildings. You often run into bicyclists in the alleys, and here comes one now. An impressive beard. I've walked through there before. It's not exactly underground parking, but at least it's sheltered parking. If I can, I'll just cross here and go on down the alley for a different take, as long as no one's coming, and no one is. One-way street, so it's easy to tell. Thai Gardens is a restaurant I've been in a few times, but not a place we think of. I'm not sure why. The food was fine. Thai Garden, singular. So normally I'd be walking on Albert past the Metro can. That's where I crossed when I came the other way. Old garage. Needs a touch of paint. I could go through there, but I'm going to go up here and walk. There's kind of an archway I'll go through up here. Used to be a goldsmith in there. That's where the wedding ring I'm wearing right now was made. It's in that building. There's also, is or was, an escape room. I don't know if they're active or not. The pandemic was hard on escape rooms. Especially if you just opened it and suddenly all your business was gone. I kind of enjoy escape rooms. I find them frustrating. The hints and everything are so arbitrary. It's not like you would probably find, I always come at it like a writer, and some of the stuff is not, well, no, that wouldn't make any sense if you were putting it in a book, but you're not putting it in a book, you're putting it in an escape room. It's its own thing. As I said, there's an archway here as we go through the parking area. That's the Royal Saskatchewan Museum building to the right, and the former, the second, that was the original Saskatchewan Government Telephones building. That was the second Government Telephones, or SaskTel building. And then down at the Cornwall Centre where I was is the current SaskTel building, which is where my wife works. I was dropping something off to her, as well as picking up some pills at the Shoppers Drug Mart. In case you were wondering, now you know. So the architect was not happy when they put that silver box around the bottom, but he didn't have a say at that point. I think he thought he should have, but he didn't. And that building is now part of the Royal Saskatchewan Museum. They're all passing under my camera, so. It's like a camp of some sort. And now we're back on very familiar territory. Oof. I occasionally catch my feet in these new shoes because I think the soles are a little higher. So it's a bit of a tripping hazard until you get used to it. But as I said, I think I'm getting close to 6'4" when I wear them, so yay me. Almost like elevator shoes. Which I don't need, being 6'2" to begin with. We'll go down the alley here too. I've done that for a while. At least as far as the pavement goes. Today's recycling day, so the blue bins are more prominent. Used to know there was an old house there, a very nice old house that got torn down to build this one. I know the people who live here. I know the woman who lived there before. We were sorry to see that house go, and she had a beautiful garden, which is now just a yard. It's the way of things. Someday I'll be gone and they'll be looking at the house, and whoever has it 50 years from now, they don't tear it down. I suspect our daughter will sell it once it belongs to her, if we don't sell it first, because I don't see what she wants to do that she'll be living in Regina. Anyway, hopefully that's many, many years from now. I'm hoping for 40. Could make 30. I think 20 is a good shot. I hope I'll be around for at least another couple of decades. There's this big new one they've been building, although I haven't seen any work going on for a while. It seems quite stalled at the moment, so I don't know what they're waiting on. Yeah, we'll go on up. Well, no, we'll go this way, because this way we can see this house. So you can see it's gotten quite far along. if there's any work going on there, there's been no sign of it for a while. And that could mean a number of things. Could be they ran out of money, but probably it just means there's trades they need. I know there's a shortage. Hopefully our contractor has it all worked out, because they'll be working in our backyard on our small extension, finally, which should have been built last year. Finally getting built this year. We're supposed to have everything out of the back porch by the end of the month, and then they'll start working back there. This one was for sale, and now it has sold, it looks like. So check and see what the price was. Again, everything looks at its very best right now. Everything's green. There's flowers some places. I mean, there'll be more flowers later on, I guess, so maybe the peak isn't quite here yet. But on a beautiful day like today, with the sun dappling the houses through the trees, very lovely, I think. I don't think it's just because I live in the neighbourhood and would like to think it's lovely. I think it actually is a lovely neighborhood. A few years ago, there was a magazine in the States that named it one of North America's best old house neighborhoods. So there you go. I don't think that increases our property worth at all, but of course the other thing is that the grass and the weeds are growing like crazy. I mowed last week. This house was built by the architect who built our house, and he lived there. I know who lives there now too. An artist, actually. Morning. Duck. So know our neighbors on this side, not so much across the street, at least to say hello to. And our neighbor on this side we know quite well. He looked after Shadowpaw a little bit recently. Okay, I'll stop here. Thanks for walking with me. Yeah, we'll see about tomorrow. Might be around the lake. Might be downtown again. I might have to go down and sit in the passport office for a while. Anyway, that's it for now. Goodbye.